What is truly wrong with love and light? If you have been in any of the supernatural realms for a while, I'm sure you've heard of this term. People love to use it as a greeting, but people also use it as a protection, as a way of ensuring that they are simply working under love and light. So, with this beautiful phrase, what is so wrong with it? And could you actually be sabotaging yourself by using it? That's exactly what we're going to be diving into today in my latest video. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I am Ella Dawn, a spiritual mindset coach and healer, revealing supernatural truths within the Bible. So, love and light. I used to operate under this for the longest time. I used to be really against God, having been raised in a cult myself and seeing a lot of the persecution and a lot of the hypocrisy in the church, and always having spiritual gifts but never being accepted. So love and light seemed like the perfect term to utilize to start tapping into, to utilize as a protection. Before I did meditation, before I did energy healing, I thought it made me safe. I thought it made me protected. I thought it kept away the dark forces. However, that's not always true, and that was only something I realized once I started experimenting with the difference. And I want to bring awareness to a few scriptures here to really show why it can be so dangerous, and also why it can be so much more powerful to operate under God. So we're going to look at 2 Corinthians 11:12-15. It said, "These people are false apostles. They are deceitful workers who disguise themselves as apostles of Christ. But I am not surprised. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light." So when you're operating under love and light, are you truly operating under love and light? Or could you still be allowing in a masquerade? Could you really be allowing in Satan? And it states in Matthew 24:24, "For false Christs and false prophets will arise and will show great signs and wonders, so as to mislead, if possible, even the elect." There are supernatural forces out there. We are in a supernatural war, and they can perform great signs and wonders. We see it all through the Bible, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the intentions are good. Even if your intentions are good, if you are opening up to these other spirits that do not have your best intentions in mind, then you could really be welcoming in a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. You could be inviting in a lot of subconscious warfare that could be happening in your mind without you even realizing it. Regarding the power that is possible from these other forces, regarding the power that's available in God, one particularly area I want us to be directed to is Exodus 7:10-13. "So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did what the Lord had commanded them. Aaron threw down his staff before Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a serpent." Moses and Aaron, if you're not familiar, they were going into Egypt to save the Israelites, and they are operating under God's instruction. So Aaron threw down his staff, it became a serpent. But then Pharaoh called in his own wise men and sorcerers who were not operating under God, and the Egyptian magicians did the same thing with their magic. They threw down their staffs, which also became serpents, but then Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. So the power of God was clearly so much greater that these magical staffs turned serpents were eaten by God's staff turned serpent. Like, wrap your brain around that. I know it's crazy, but God's power was clearly greater than the power from these other forces. And I also want to bring attention into Daniel chapter 2, where the king had this dream and he sent out a message for people to try and interpret it, and whoever was able to interpret this message was going to be blessed highly. And no one, we see that in Daniel 2 verse 10, no one, no magician, no Sadducee, no sorcerer, Nobody was able to interpret this dream, but guess who could? Daniel, who was under the power of God. So, all the things you're doing, imagine how much greater things you could be doing if you tried working under the power of God. The other thing I want to bring awareness to is 1 John 4:7-8. Dear friends, let us continue to love one another, for love comes from God. Anyone who loves is a child of God and knows God. But anyone who does not love does not know God, for God is love. There's so many illusions out there of what love is, but the greatest love was honestly Christ, who is willing to lay down his life for us, his perfect life, in order so that we could be saved. Like, that is true love. And I know people can throw around the term love, but is it really true, unconditional, non-judgmental love? That is the question. Non-judgmental, unconditional love. So we could be saying love, we could be inviting in love and light, but Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. And is it this true, unconditional, non-judgmental love? And if that is the kind of love you want to walk in, why wouldn't you want to try to invite in God? And in that, by developing this relationship with God, you're not necessarily condoning what the church has done. Your relationship with God is your relationship. It is a personal relationship between you and him. And you can start to invite him in, start to explore and try it on and see what this love feels like. See how it shifts your life. See how it transforms energy healings, meditations, just your life in general, without having to give permission to what your perception of the church might be or what you might have experienced. You can still invite in God's love right now as you are. And I can promise that what you will experience in life will be so much more powerful, so much more potent, so much more abundant and magnetizing than what you would have ever experienced under simply love and light alone. So let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you're going to try it out. And feel free to drop in the comments what else you might like to see in these videos. Much love and